Alright, welcome to round 5 of the FRL Division 2 Championship. Here we are in Miami, USA for what is going to be a thrilling short qualifying, followed up by a sprint race and a feature race soon to come after that. So here we are at the new track that has just appeared this year, and I have to say it produced a pretty solid race in the actual real-life F1 race in this season. And we got a very exciting race in the Division 1 area yesterday. But today we're here with Division 2, and while we're here watching Jim Tong making his way around, let's give you a little bit of a tour on this circuit. So the Miami International Autodrome boasts in total 19 corners to make your way around, 3 DRS zones in total. One down the back straight where Jim is on right now, one down the main straight, all the way up to turn 1, and then the final DRS zone being after turn 9, being along that very long straight towards sector 3 in that hairpin turn. Just beforehand, DK actually is in that DRS area now. I thought he had it open for a moment, but I guess I was mistaken there. This track is quite tricky. It's very easy to make mistakes around here, primarily due to the fact that this track, it's not exactly the grippiest circuit. It's very easy to lose grip, as seen with the Ferrari there. I think he spun out, but it's very easy to spin out in the first 3 corners. Oversteer is a major problem here, so good car control is essential. What was also interesting is how you can make your setup. You can run almost 0-0 wing, so absolute minimum downforce. You'll be a rocket on a straight line, but you'll struggle in the corners. However, if you know how to run the circuit, you can really make up for that time and be incredibly rapid. So it's all about confidence here. But we saw in Division 1 yesterday, even the toughest and the best drivers can struggle here. And that's just the nature of it. It doesn't help that this is, like I said before, a brand new track, so people are much less familiar with this than, say, Silverstone, which will actually be coming next week. Giuseppe's making his way on a flying lap. Kirito's going to sit the first lap. A 128.899. It's a solid time. But I have to say, though, it's been an exciting battle between him and Kermit, the two actually coming together last week in France. And I think we're going to see yet another round of those two going at one another. Waldo crossing the line, a little bit more of a struggle lap, nearly a minute 40. He's definitely going to want to find some improvement there. Dub crosses the line, goes second overall. That's Arnold not too far behind. DK in the McLaren is getting ready to finish up a lap. Where is he going to put his car? Going across, he manages to go second overall. That's a pretty solid lap. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be looking for improvement later on. Meanwhile, No Limit is running through Sector 2, about to hit Sector 3. He really cut the chicane there, taking up a lot of curb. That chicane can easily throw a driver for a loop, in some cases quite literally, sending you into a spin into the wall. Thankfully, No Limit kept in good control there. And we have the two Aston Martins running on flying laps. Wonder Toast and Alan B. Gracie are both running through on some pretty rapid times right now. At least it seems so off the start for Alan. As Lennox continues this, and wow, he's picking up a lot of curb there. I'm kind of surprised because honestly the curbs around here can be quite rough, but Alan seems to be unconcerned by them. Well, dang, he was on a flyer, but I think he backed out of it. He probably made a mistake that he wasn't too pleased about. And he's just gonna take his time to make another attempt. Meanwhile, we have Fred in the Red Bull, making his way around the track. Now, actually, he did win the previous race at Imola. Not France, but he did win at Imola as a reserve, and he's reserving here again. And honestly, if things go as well as they did back in Italy, he could be facing yet another victory. Looks like some drivers are struggling with connection right now. Jack disconnecting. Jim is making his way through on a flying lap, and it is blistering right now through Sector 1, nearly invalidating as he goes very wide. But already, he's off to a solid start. Was it me, or did something just teleport there? I think it may have just been losing my mind for a moment, but I'm pretty sure I saw a McLaren for a short moment. And Pred is on a flying lap. He's going down the back straight now and is putting in a pretty solid time. The question I'm wondering is, where is he going to put his car by the time he finishes up? Oh, right across the line. He manages to go first overall. That is indeed an incredible time. And at the moment, that's going to grant him provisional pole. Alan B. Crazy gets a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Kermit. Well, Kermit was on an outlap, though. So the question I'm wondering is, was Kermit in the way, or did Alan just hit him? I'm uncertain, but I doubt Kermit is too pleased, and now he's going on a flying lap, and he's got Alan in front of him. Alan does back out, so then Kermit can go through. Meanwhile, Alan's got another... Oh, okay, that was cutting it a little bit close, and now that's the hat of Sebi spinning. Honestly, I think having the Aston so close probably threw off Sebi as he entered that corner. That's probably just ruined his lap. Well, not probably, it definitely has ruined his lap. He's gonna have to make another attempt. Oh, and that was Kermit just across the line. He managed to go 5th overall. It's going to be a solid time for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be looking to improve. And we have Dub on a new lap. He's down on his previous time, though, by a pretty solid margin. I don't think he's going to be able to find any improvement this lap, and honestly, considering how much ERS he has remaining, I think he's fully backed off on this lap, and he's going to get ready to make another attempt. Now, Limit's getting a new lap underway. Oh, and it's already over. That spin just broke at least part of his front wing. As I said before, it's very easy to spin in just the first 3 corners, and he resets on track, nearly getting in the way of Jim going on an outlap. And actually, that resetting the track would certainly warrant a penalty later on. Oh, looks like Kermit has spun around just before the chicane. Now, Sebi's looking for improvement here. He's found plenty of it, but he needs to find a little bit more if he wants to put in a competitive time. The problem is, he's burnt up most of his ERS already. By the time he crosses the line, he's going to have nearly none left. Still getting ready as he crosses the line. He manages to go second overall. Well, he certainly burned up all that ERS and made it count. That's going to put him on the front row for now, and even on slightly older tires as well. Granted, it was only one lap older technically, but still, that is a good sign for him later on in this race. Meanwhile, I think Waldo just crossed the line. He did find improvement, but I think he's going to want a little bit more. Jim is going on a new lap now, getting a little bit squirrely through Sector 1 already. You can see his car really wanting to oversteer, and he's having to hold back a little bit to keep his car in control. Oh, and he goes very wide. I'm honestly impressed that he didn't invalidate there. He seems to really know the track limits, and that's going to allow him to take a very aggressive line, and that has allowed him to gain nearly half a second alone. That is a massive amount of improvement. That alone is going to put him within the top 5. If he continues at this pace, he could even potentially challenge for pole at this rate. Now making his way through Sector 2. Has he found any improvement here? Going across. He's found a full second. Well, I think Jim is about to completely demolish Prid's personal best and potentially go first overall. Now, routing these final couple corners, crossing the line. Where is Jim going to go? I think it's going to be pretty safe to say he's going to go first. And indeed he does by a significant margin. Jim now has provisional pole, putting himself nearly 5 tenths ahead of the next driver, who is Prid, who was on a hot lap, I think, but has backed off. Jack is making his way through the track right now. He seems to be quite comfortable, and as he crosses the line, he manages to go third overall. Got a little bit confused there for a moment because there is another Alpine just ahead. Frid, though, he's on a flying lap, and Aston Martin is going to be completely in the way there. And who was that? That was Alan on an outlap, just completely impeding Fred there. Fred is going to retire from the session. But I imagine Fred isn't going to be too pleased about that. Alan just was right in the way at the worst possible time for him. Well, Baby H. White, I think he just finished up a lap, only managed to go 15th. Dub, meanwhile, through Sector 1, he lost a 10th compared to his previous lap. Big Cheese is on a cooldown lap. But as for Prid, how much improvement has he found now? He's found nearly 3 tenths now. If he can find just a little bit more around these final couple corners, Prid could very well be taking back pole from Jim. It's going to be close for Prid as he goes across the line. He does manage to take pole back by a mere 2 thousandths. What a close margin. But still, that is going to be enough for Prid to have provisional pole. Jim has a very limited time to respond if he chooses to do so. But, I mean, if he's going to do it, he needs to go out now, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. He indeed is coming out to answer that challenge from Prid. And like I said, all he needs is 2,000ths. He barely needs to improve. If he gets 100th, that would be more than enough. Wonder Toast is on a new lap now. Big Cheese has retired in the pits. Wonder Toast is looking very aggressive right now through Sector 1. Oh, but that was a bit of too much oversteer, I think, for his liking. Still, that was a pretty solid Sector 1. A couple times faster than several others. So this is already a solid start for him. Meanwhile, his teammate is a little bit further up the road, making his way through the latter part of Sector 2. Wonder Toast is actually significantly closer now. But Alan, has he found any improvement through here? He's found nearly 3/10 now, and actually that much of a gain could put him into the top 10. Meanwhile, Karma is getting a new lap started as well. This is going to be a very close finale, and who was that just crossed the line? I think that was DK, who did just manage to put himself into the top 5. Meanwhile, Alan, he did improve enough to go into the top 10. Wonder Toast, he meanwhile remains. Did he invalidate? Meanwhile, Rich Sebi out of nowhere takes a shock pole position, nearly getting into the 127s. That is an incredible lap from the Haas driver, putting in a potential pole position at his home track, and Jim has retired. I actually am unsure of what happened there, but Jim is out. Well, with that, Rich Sebi's gonna take pole position at Haas's home circuit. Well, one of the two, that is. But I think he and the team are going to be very thrilled about that. But if he wants to win, well, first he's got to handle the sprint race and then the feature after that. But checking in on the others, I think everything has pretty much been decided. Nobody else is going to be looking to improve. So this is qualifying decided. Sebi's going to be taking pole position, with Prid joining him in the front row, followed up by Jim and Kermit, No Limit and Jack, DK and Kirito, Welpdang and Death Star, Alan and Dub, Big Cheese and Wonder Toast, Waldo and Dwight, Fred, Banana, and Shaggy starting at the back of the grid. Now, yesterday in the Div 1 sprint race, Prid picked a very aggressive strategy to go on this soft tire, and it really paid off, allowing him to jump up about 5 spots at least. So, if someone is willing to take that risk, it could very well pay off. But going in, I think the medium tire would be the ideal choice. Again, the soft tire is certainly doable, but you'll have to be very careful with your tire wear at the end, and if you want to make it count, you need to be very aggressive and very confident off the start. Of course, we have seen aggressive starts before, and especially here, and they tend to end with a collision. And I would say part of the problem is the track. The nature of turn 1 and 2, just right there, it's a pretty awkward entrance. So it's very easy for collisions to occur there. Alright, and we are back now for the sprint race. And, well, it does look about as expected. Medium tire runners across the board, with one exception being Destar Null, who's starting on the soft tire. As I said before, it's a risky strategy, but if you play your cards right, you can make it happen. The softs will look good for quite a while, but it's around about lap 6 to 8 where they will start to fall off, and I think that's Kirito went really wide for a moment. I have no idea what that was about, but this is going to be interesting. I don't know why, but I feel like there's something off about the shadows on his car. I don't know, there's something about it that's just throwing me off. I don't know, maybe I'm just losing my mind. That's very well possible. I am only just now recovering from COVID, so I still have a little bit of COVID brain going on, so that's probably part of it. So Sebi did a very, very brilliant job taking pole position, and now he's going to be leading off the start of this race. He's going to have to be careful though, because he's got some very strong contenders right behind him in Prid, Jim, and Kermit. Not to mention, we still have other strong drivers a little bit further down, like Kirito and Dub. Destar Null is certainly not to be discounted. That soft tire advantage is going to be very good off the start. We're just waiting on Shaggy to line up, and we'll be able to go underway in just a moment. Alright, here we go. 5 red lights coming on here in Miami for the Division 2 sprint race. And it's lights out and away we go. Sebi has a pretty decent start, but it looks like the McLaren of No Limit had an even better one. He's already potentially contesting, and we have 4 wide into turn 1 and multiple cars banging wheels there. And a disastrous collision in the back. That is Jim going vertical for a short moment, putting his car at an orientation he would really not be too comfortable with. And by that, I mean I would not want my car being 45 degrees, if not a full perpendicular angle, off on the side. That is horrific. And that's going to put Jim all the way at the back, and he's definitely going to have damage for that. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he's only lost the left end plate of his front wing. You would think it would be much worse. Meanwhile, Prid is still within the top 5, as just in front of him, Kermit and Sebi are contesting. Kermit manages to get ahead into second. No Limit is now leading the race. Meanwhile, Shaggy, who started all the way down in last, is now up to P11, battling for 10th. At the same time, Banana and Wonder Toast are fighting here. Banana having to go very wide here onto this, but now he's going to get a good exit and a decent tow. Wonder Toast is losing out on the straight line, so he's going to have to slot in behind. Meanwhile, the 2 Mercedes are going at it. Welpton getting ahead of his teammate going into these final couple corners. Now, No Limit, he's already made a fantastic getaway over a second ahead. Kermit, a little bit less so. He's still got a very angry Haas right behind him, along with many other cars chasing. And Big Cheese and Jim are both entering the pit lane, most likely to get new front wings. Oh, and meanwhile, just up in front, Shaggy and Baby Joy are banging wheels with one another, getting very close here. We're about to have 3 wide here. going down this straight. Baby Dwight really putting on the pressure on Banana as he's trying to put himself ahead. These four cars are absolutely duking it out for 11th place. But Banana does manage to get ahead. Baby Dwight bumps into the back of him. That's the Alpine of Jack off to the side. And Jack manages to stay ahead, and that allows Banana to make a good getaway. Meanwhile, it looks like Baby Dwight and Wonder Toast are coming to blows here. Wonder Toast, being on the outside, gets a better exit and is now pulling away little by little away from Baby Dwight. But Baby Dwight is actually faster on the straight here. He's able to beat him out. But Wonder Toast is still keeping alongside. Now going to the corner. Wonder Toast pulls a fantastic switcheroo as Dwight goes in way too deep. And that's going to cause him to lose position. Meanwhile, Banana spins out into the wall, breaking his front wing, and he's going to try to recover here, but he's going to do so, getting in the way a little bit of the Red Bull of Fred. Meanwhile, Kirito is on the chase after Fred, but Fred is still keeping up quite nicely with the two cars in front of him. DRS should be enabled by now, and so they'll have it on the back straight. Meanwhile, Dub manages to get ahead of Shaggy momentarily, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer than that. He's making a pretty solid getaway now. At the same time, Jim and Big Cheese are going wheel to wheel here. Jim managing to get ahead of the Alfa Romeo to get into 18th place. At the same time, we have Death Star Null here going side by side with Shaggy. Going into this corner. Which car will come out ahead? It's going to be close here, but Death Star Null manages to pull off the move and gets ahead into 14th place now, chasing after Dub. Meanwhile, Jim, he now sits the fastest lap, getting ahead of Banana, who goes into the pits. Further up, Jack is chasing after Waldo here, chasing enough, I think, to make a move and get into 9th. This is going to be close going into this corner, but Jack manages to pull it off with gusto. But it looks like Waldo is fighting back here. He doesn't want to give up this position just yet, and he manages to get back ahead. But Wonder Toes has spun out, going through the hairpin. And that's going to have him drop down a few positions. Meanwhile, Brett is chasing Kermit here, looking to make a move on the outside. He actually manages to clear Kermit and get into 3rd. At the same time, Sebi is actually starting to close the gap little by little. Kermit and Kirito getting very close to one another. Brett having, I don't know what happened to him there, but he's lost a lot of time and now is under danger of being overtaken by DK. But now we have a battle that we've seen before between Kirito and Kermit. These two have raced very hard in the past, and I think we're about to see a rough rematch. Meanwhile, DK pulls off a very nice move to get ahead of Prid. So here we have a battle between the two Scuderias. There's just one little thing. Kermit has plenty of ERS left, while Kirito has practically none remaining. He does, however, have DRS where he's lacking an ERS. But he's got a McLaren coming up relatively quickly, and he's still got Fred coming up also, looking to make a move past DK to get back into that top 5. Can he pull off the move? It looks like he can. And Alan is looking to make a move in there as well. Can he put himself ahead of the McLaren? They bang wheels for a moment, but DK says, no, this is my position, I'm keeping it, and shoves Alan out of the way. Meanwhile, Wolfgang is actually getting a good run. Allen has no ERS left, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to the Mercedes of Wolfgang. He's going to put himself on the outside. Allen braking very late here, but Wolfgang still keeping alongside. But on the exit, Allen gets back ahead. Meanwhile, Allen is now going to dive on the inside, bumps a little bit into the back of DK, manages to get ahead now. Wolfgang is forced to slot in behind. Meanwhile, Dub and Baby Dwight are going wheel to wheel here. Which one is going to come out ahead by the end of turn 3? Looks like Baby Dwight does. Having a lot of momentum going through in those first couple turns. Looks like Fred has dropped down a spot. Wonder Toast having spun yet again. Meanwhile, back at the front, Debbie has quickly closed the gap, and I think he may be looking to potentially get that win. And he certainly has the pace to do it. He's quickly closed that gap. He was almost 1.5 seconds down on No Limit, and already he's within DRS range and capable of making a move very soon. Here we have Sebi continuously closing the gap. He can't make a move just yet, but he's going to have a much better opportunity down the pit straight. At the same time, Kermit and Kirito are coming to blows here, going down towards the pit straight. It looks like Kirito's come out on top. Kermit is still keeping himself alongside, though, going into turn 1. Which Scuderia will succeed? It looks like Kirito has nearly fully completed the move, and he has. Kirito is now in the podium positions, but he still has Kermit right behind. But also participating in this fight is DK and Prid, the two coming together, banging wheels. Oh, and that nearly resulted in a disastrous collision. The two remaining alongside, DK bumping into Prid again, and Allen taking advantage to get ahead of the Alpine. Meanwhile, we still have Wolfgang back here. This is an incredible battle in the front right now. Now we have DK all out of ERS, and that's going to allow Allen to get alongside. Pred looking to find an opportunity, but he won't be able to just yet. He's going to have to wait for a better moment. Meanwhile, Allen does complete the move on DK, but Pred has to watch out for Wolfgang, who manages to get ahead. Yellow flag in sector 1, that's the Hassan Banana who has spun, and he got a time penalty as well. Meanwhile, Sebi is getting even closer now, closer enough to potentially make a move, but still just out of range. At the same time, Kermit, I think he almost tried to make a move on Kirito there. I think he's trying to bait Kirito into a mistake, perhaps. Meanwhile, Shaggy, with a good amount of speed, manages to get ahead of Wonder Toast. Despite Wonder Toast having DRS, he's barely keeping up and is only now starting to get ahead. I think Wonder Toast just sacrificed a lot of straight line speed for downforce, and it's costing him a lot on the straights. Meanwhile, Pred and Wolfgang are coming to blows here. Pred managing to get ahead momentarily. Can he keep ahead? I think he has just managed to complete that move. But once he gets DRS, it's going to be a little bit closer. Wolfgang now wanting to put himself back alongside. Burning up a lot of ERS here, but getting a good run of Slipstream with the McLaren directly in front. But Pred still wants his spot, and he's going to be able to hold on to it. The top two have actually built quite a massive gap, over 5 seconds gain, but still, Sebi can't gain enough speed to overtake the McLaren of No Limit, despite the fact that No Limit has no ERS left. Yellow flag in sector 1, Sebi's teammate has spun yet again. Meanwhile, Fred momentarily overtakes DK. DK getting very aggressive there on the exit. Fred having to back out there. Sebi is in a very tough spot. I know he wants to overtake this McLaren and take the lead, but he's running out of time. We're on the penultimate lap, and he's got barely anything left. No Limit actually has barely any ERS left. So he needs to burn everything he has if he hopes to make a move. And I think now he's got the speed to do it, because now he's going to get a good run of DRS. And with ERS, it's finally going to be enough to potentially make a move on the outside. But it's still not enough. No Limit breaks very late, and that's allowing him to remain ahead. And Alan gets another time penalty. I think that's the second one. No, that's his first one. It's Banana who's gotten 2 time penalties. But with that 3-second time penalty, Alan is actually going to potentially drop out of the points. The points positions in the sprint being only the top 8. Wait. No Limit has spun! He spun around one of those final corners! That's going to cost him the win, and he's going to drop down to 5th place now. Suddenly, this battle for P3 has now become a battle for P2, and I think Kermit sees an opportunity, but it's going to be his last one as we're on the final lap. Same time, Fred's going to have to keep on his toes. He's got DK right behind, looking to make any opportunity happen. He wants to get ahead and get alongside his teammates. And actually, with the penalties, where it would be a P6, it would actually be a potential P5, but Fred is actually making a good getaway on the straight. Meanwhile, No Limit is rapidly gaining on Alan here, but he has no ERS left. Absolutely none. Meanwhile, Welpdang gets ahead of DK to take a hold of 7th place. It's a shame for No Limit. He was running so well throughout the entire race, but that one slight mistake cost him the win. He is still going to be able to remain in the top 5 and bring home a decent amount of points for McLaren. But meanwhile, Kermit and Kirito are going wheel to wheel just a little bit longer, the two banging wheels with one another. This is going to be a very close finish between the two of them as they get ready to cross the line. Who will come out on top? Kermit beats him across the line by the slimmest of margins. Kermit is going to be able to take 2nd place right out from under the nose of Kirito. What a race between those two. But with that incredible battle for 2nd, the winner is going to be Sebi, winning on Haas's home turf here in Miami. What a performance from Sebi. He just kept it clean, no mistakes, and managed to bring home a fantastic result. Kermit just barely edging out Kirito at the end. I can only imagine the sheer frustration Kirito has right now, but still, he did a fantastic job to get from where he did on the grid all the way up to the podium. Meanwhile, finishing out the rest of the points positions will be No Limit, Prid, Welpdang, DK, and Alan just barely are managing to remain in the points after that 3-second penalty, although he will only be able to walk away with 1 point in the sprint. Well, I have to say, that was probably one of the best sprint races I've ever seen, with one of the most thrilling finishes I've ever seen. If that is what the sprint race could provide, I can only imagine how exciting the feature race is going to be. We'll be seeing you all then.